Listen, it paid off. My first girlfriend and I did meet at the University Debating Society.
Oh, well, there you go.
So you tell me who's a loser.
Well, in the rebuttal, I will. Well, today, joining me on Pottering with Tom Allen is the international superstar Nish Kumar. He's a very old friend of mine, and I'm delighted that he's joining me here in the garden. Yeah, this is what I like to think of as an Alfresco Therapy session. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Because, as I always say, people are more relaxed in nature.
The outdoors.
The great outdoors. And it doesn't feel like it's the great outdoors if it's just in your garden, though, does it?
But it's such a nice garden.
Well, thank you, Nish.
So it does feel... yeah, it is. Yeah, it's such a nice garden.
Well, it's got a few plants. It's got a flight path. Can't do anything about it. We don't stop for that.
I've always said the two things I need to relax are really nicely tended to garden and the sound of a jet engine.
Sound of an A380 passing over your head.
I need to
every
be
25 minutes.
Close to air travel.
Well, have I got great news for you? You're here. You're there. Yeah. So, but do you find it hard to relax? Because I know I do.
Everybody, when I was growing up, was always told me that I was so lazy that I think in my head I was like, oh yeah, I guess I am.
I got told I was lazy. That's funny. And I obviously wasn't.
Yeah.
But there was occasionally they'd be like, you're lazy.
Yeah.
That's why. And I was fighting against that, I suppose.
I don't want to pathologise either of us, but I have recently discovered that we have something called mental health. And it's a real shock to a lot of particularly straight men of my age that we have mental health that needs to be tended to. But apparently it's like a garden under a flight path.
Preferably under a flight path.
I think it might be an ADHD thing.
Oh, really?
I think because
considered it.
There's points where it feels like you've disappeared off into your own world. But anyway, this is not clinically because I haven't had my diagnosis properly because I keep not replying to emails. Which
is a cruel symptom of ADHD.
I think it's very unfair that a group of people with an executive function disorder that stops them from being able to do admin are being asked to fill in forms. Like, what's going on here? What are we doing here?
He didn't send the form back. He's got it. But this guy, straight away, sent it back.
100%. Just as soon as you walk in. Absolutely.
You're here on time. You haven't got it.
I would say that, I was told so often that I was lazy that I think in my head I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty lazy. Also, I do sometimes sleep until 11 a.m. So in my head I'm like, yeah, I think I am lazy. But that being said, I am constantly working.
Yeah.
Like you. But we're constantly working.
But yet still, I think if I stop this mode of like, be busy all the time, I know, or my fear is that I'll just immediately spiral into this place of inertia. Is that the right word?
Are you worried that if you stop working, you'll never start again? Because
like an engine, like a nuclear power station.
Just constantly rolling, fishing.
Yeah, that's what I like to think of my sense of humour as. Like, I mean, maybe some people say it's grandiose of me to say, but yes, I'd say it's like splitting an atom.
When you are on stage, I have to watch you through those Cillian Murphy goggles. I have to watch you from a distance.
People doing it.
Through a
Usually
screen.
most of my gigs are in a desert.
We have that weird Vaseline on our face that they have in Oppenheimer. The weird nuclear Vaseline.
That was a nice
We
scene.
put the weird nuclear Vaseline on and then we watch Tom Allen do his comedy.
There he goes. You know, if once he starts, he can't stop. There he goes.
That is.
Until I'm literally
he has become
decommissioned.
death, destroyer of worlds.
Here I am. But I just think if I stop, I'll get into my thoughts, and then that will stop me from doing stuff. And I think when I do rest, my brain tends to run to, negative thoughts. If I'm honest,
That's exactly how I feel.
Oh right.
As soon as I'm left with nothing to do, your brain immediately goes to, oh dear. A little school of thought that I call the oh dear thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good way of describing them. But the trouble is for me, they're so insidious. They creep in when I'm just, I'll be like, well, I'll sit in this chair for a while.
Yeah.
I bought this chair. I never sit in it. I'll sit in it, and then I go, oh, you piece of
shit. That is deeply relatable to me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Really
Helen
nice of
Bauer, who is an
yeah.
incredible comedian and friend of ours, was doing a joke on stage about how she cannot be left to her own thoughts, and so she constantly has to have podcasts playing or music playing or anything.
Yeah.
And while I was watching it with my partner Amy Annette, and as she was talking about it, Amy was hitting me in the leg, which I thought was a little unfair. But she was like,
you've been through.
Yeah, she was like, are you feeling some
connection?
Are you relating to this? And Helen says, I can't leave myself to my own thoughts because I've done it 5 times this year, and 3 of the thoughts were jump. I hope I'm not mangling that joke, and I do apologise to Helen if I've not got the wording right, but that is the spirit of it, and it made me laugh so much.
Why can't we just have nice thoughts in that? I don't
know.
Is it because we've got this sort of Hollywood version of kind of what a moment to oneself should like kind of profoundly nice thoughts or something?
I don't know. I just feel like...
Oh. See, the wind is blowing now, and for anybody listening to this, Nish has got a very, what's the word? Effervescent, full head of hair.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a word for flowing locks, which are showing the wind blow.
Yeah, it would be really funny if the mics haven't picked it up. And so it just looks like you and I just were like seized by the Holy Spirit. Like in the middle of a conversation, we both just went... we were being
waiting for the rapture. Oh, I guess this is it. What a day. What a day for it to happen on. I like
that in the reality that we've just established, the rapture happens, but this episode still goes out.
Look, it's podcasting. Nothing can stop it.
Not even the rapture.
People will be podcasting the rapture.
Oh, God. I can't wait to see some of the...
Diary of a raptured human soul.
Every day in the afterlife, I wake up at 6 a.m, I have a Huel.
Get yourself a Huel. You pop on some other podcasts, off menu, sure.
Yeah, I think the challenge for us now, as we enter a new chapter of our lives, is to try and work out how to be sat alone with your thoughts without defaulting to...
I mean, I've called this pottering because I quite like the idea of pottering, but I can only really do it with the wind.
Yeah.
I can only do it when I have an activity.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So being in the garden.
Yeah.
Being in the garden, it's very calm. And I find that having a little thing to do, which I can see the results of my work.
Yeah.
And that I can cope with.
I can cope with, like, if I have downtime, what I will do is I will go to the cinema, almost immediately. If I have time free, I will immediately go to the cinema, or I will put an album on and listen to it in its entirety, or I will read a book. I can do those things.
Yeah.
But I am also loosely aware that I'm doing those things so that I don't have to
think.
Spend
any time with yourself. Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like people historically have had things to do, I suppose.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a new thing for us as a generation to have, like, I feel like people would be slightly active maybe or more of the time.
I don't know. But I also think there's always been people that can't be left alone with their thoughts. Like, I think even there was almost certainly like a prehistoric man who was like, Jesus Christ, this is bad stuff, man. I just need to get back to battering a mammoth to death because I'm really, like, when I'm not battering a mammoth to death or trying to impregnate my wife to continue this nascent species, I really start to think, what is the point of any of this? Like, really, what are we doing here? I'm wearing a loincloth. I don't know if this beard length is working with my hair length. What's the point? Where did we come from? We were swimming in the ocean a second ago.
That must have been a weird one. When my family were all amphibious. Yeah. But I mean, that's queer right there. That's being queer. There. See? It's an academic podcast, did I not tell you? My parents were all living in a pond, and now I'm skipping about the fields. What's with that? They can't understand
that
me.
really does feel like the premise of a children's book that has recently been struck off library lists in the United States of America.
I like having you here, Nish, because I very proudly embraced living in suburbia when I came to live here, which is where both you and I grew up, not far from each other, although we didn't know each other.
No, we grew up not very far from each other and went to school very close to each other.
Well, of course, you went to the grammar school, which I did not get into because I couldn't do the non-verbal reasoning.
Yeah, right.
Clever kids can. Triangle, square, tree. What does that mean?
I think if somebody gave me one of those exam papers now, I would just immediately vomit. Like I wouldn't even
get. The boy opposite
to...
me started crying. Which annoyed me because I wanted to cry, but I didn't know. I was like, well, he's done it.
I didn't know that was an option.
I didn't know it was an option. Yeah, that's true. I didn't know. It's like, get in there, do that again.
So we went to... I definitely, in the brief period where I played cricket for my school, literally 2 years, before everyone had their growth spurt, and we were all on more of a level playing field, I definitely would have played cricket at your school.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
they
so.
They did have a cricket team, I think, yeah.
And so we, I really am a sort of creature of
this area.
Like when you must have had this. Did you read Buddha of Suburbia?
Absolutely one of my favourite books.
Like
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
When you read
really
somebody writing about,
me,
it's really an incredible book.
Yeah.
And it's about that experience of being in suburbia.
Yeah.
And
doesn't, what I quite enjoy about it is it doesn't totally rubbish it. Because there's a lot of things that kind of, I think, I want to say in the early 2000s, the idea of suburbia became quite disdained and quite dismissed.
Yeah.
As sort of like, ooh, like it felt like everybody wanted to live in Angel Islington and go to Soho House all the time. I was not part of any of that.
Yeah.
But the idea of like south of the river, in London terms, was always kind of very much dismissed. Whereas that book showed, I think, a sort of romance, literally.
Well, and also I think the other cool thing that the book is also definitely connected to is the fact that because it felt like where we were growing up was so boring, but also David Bowie lived there, grew up there, and was still living in Beckenham.
Yeah, didn't he live in like
in Beckenham,
Park Langley or around there?
But into like when Hunky Dory came out.
Was he living there as late as that?
Yeah, he was living there. One of the first couple of Ziggy Stardust performances happened in pubs in Beckenham.
Yeah,
and because he was living there. And he only moved after he did the first American tour, the Aladdin Sane era. That was when he left.
That's when he left
Kent. So that was always incredibly exciting.
I didn't realise he'd lived there as late as that in his career. Because I think that's it, isn't it? There is a boredom about it, perhaps. Yeah. But through that boredom is quite creative. And I think as well, you can feel like you're sort of forgotten because you're always on the periphery. But actually, lots happens.
I think there's... Josie Long, who also is another one of our friends, a great comedian from this part of the world, always says two things that I think are really interesting. One, that some of us had a fascination with the city because we felt like we were sort of like pressed up against the glass of something interesting that's happening.
Just over there.
Yeah, and it's just over there, and you can kind of see it, but you don't fully have access to it. But she also says that she thinks it fosters a kind of creativity because there is an unusually high number of people in comedy from, I would say, our area is overrepresented in our generation. Of you, me, Josie, Beckett.
Yes, Rob Beckett, not Thomas.
Rob Beckett, not Thomas. I'm going to start a rumour that Rob is a direct descendant of Thomas and Beckett.
Thomas
Neither Thomas nor Samuel.
Or Samuel, I didn't go for him. Yeah, that's a lot about me, doesn't it?
And then Matt Crosby.
Yes, dear Matt Crosby.
Is a brilliant comedian and writer just up the road. Like there is an interesting overrepresentation.
Yeah, of people coming from a particularly boring area.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it's sort of difficult to describe as well because it's not flamboyantly Essexy.
No.
It's not. There is a little bit of peacocking that goes on, I
Yeah.
think, but essentially it's just quite a nice,
Yeah.
quiet place.
Have you seen Lady Bird?
No,
The
what's
Greta
that?
Gerwig film with Saoirse Ronan.
No.
And it's set in Sacramento, but I will say the character in it is exactly the same age as me. So she's coming out of secondary school in the summer of 2003.
I hate to tell you. Oh, I see. I thought before you said 2003, I was going to say you're not just coming out of secondary school. Do you? I don't know. What? Where did the time go?
I catch my reflection. Who is that old man?
It's like a reverse version of Cocoon. Come into the garden and suddenly, oh no!
It's the M. Night Shyamalan film Old, which I'm literally now just realising is a reverse version of Cocoon.
Or also, isn't there the bit at the end of Jumanji when Robin Williams comes out of the game?
Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah.
it's really sad.
Yeah, it's
I
really-
just realised how sad that is.
really
He's
bleak.
stuck playing this stupid game where he's had to go and
For
wrestle-
like 30 years or
and they're like,
something.
we thought you were dead. Where did you go? 'Cause the shoe factory closed. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember the
No, but that
lines.
is. Listen, you've definitely caught the spirit of what happens to Alan Parrish. It is. I don't love the idea that I can tell you off the top of my head the character name Robin Williams plays in Jumanji, but it is Alan Parrish.
Sorry, yes.
But
yes, sorry.
Oh yeah. So the film, like, I found that film a really accurate evocation of growing up in suburban Bromley and Croydon, which is obviously straight because it's in Sacramento, but.
But it is a universal experience, I think, isn't it,
Yeah.
for a lot of people? And I always say as well, most people do live in the periphery of a metropolis, I think.
Yeah.
Not many people live in the centre
No.
these days. I feel maybe 100 years ago people were more sort of in the middle of cities. But
Yeah, I mean, so Amy Annette is quite a city kid. Like, she grew up
Oh, yeah,
quite
that's
central
true.
in
She was,
London, which I think means that she has no fascination with it in the way that maybe I do, I would say.
Well, certainly I did, I
Yeah.
think. And then I think I always had this sense of like, there's something just over there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure if I lived in, I don't know, Kensington or
Yeah.
these kind of places I just really plucked out of nowhere. But this idea that,
Yeah.
you know, Lulu might live nearby somehow made it, you know, that you'd not only be living near Lulu, but you'd have this exalted existence as a result. Do you know what I mean? Like this idea of city centre.
You went straight to Lulu.
I don't know
There
why I
was
thought of
no
Lulu. I don't know
ramp
why I
up.
thought of Lulu.
It went straight to
The
Lulu.
only-
How do I live near Lulu?
Oh, I would love to be neighbours with Lulu. And I think, do you know what I think it is that my idea of kind of fabulous in inner city living is based on absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, right.
That's what I dreamed my adult life would be.
Yeah, sure.
But of course it hasn't been like that. We're sitting in the garden where it's now slightly starting to rain.
I'm having a great time.
Well, because people are constantly searching for authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think this, if you,
This is fucking
you
authentic.
can't get more fucking authentic than this, Nish.
This is as authentic as it fucking gets.
You know?
We've got flight paths, we've got rain.
Got church bells, parakeets, pissing with rain. At one point, the sun was on you, it wasn't on me. I don't know what they're going to do for that. That's going to look terrible. It's going to look like we're in two different worlds. It's awful. What an awful idea of mine. Just because I don't have anything to say about wellness or how to be a CEO.
I would 100% listen to your Diary of a CEO.
A journal of a CEO.
Journal.
Dear diary.
Day 204. I continue to be a CEO.
I love being a CEO. I thought the thing with all those CEOs is so busy they don't have a diary. Oh, I see. It is an appointment diary.
I guess that's what it is. It's an appointment diary.
Oh, like a
right?
calendar.
Rather than
like a calendar. Obviously.
I'm fascinated by
A fridge calendar.
I'm fascinated by things that are explicitly for men.
So
Like
am I.
men's culture.
Yes, yes.
I'm sort of loosely fascinated by it.
I know exactly what you mean, I think. In that it's so like bros culture.
Yeah.
But like not only that, it's all sort of directed at men, like barbecues.
Yeah,
Go
and
to-
but there's this other subset of it where I've seen these like men's retreats, and it's like only men, and they're sort of all in their underpants,
That sounds familiar.
and it's, and it's, but
Is it here?
it's for straight men to be around in the company of other straight men
yes.
and eat meat. But then the thing that fascinates me about it is a lot of it, when you look at it, you're like, I get this, okay, fine, I know what this is. But then occasionally they'll be like, and at the end, that they go through their days at these retreats. And they're very, very often be in like rainforests and like very beautiful parts of the world. And then they'll say, you know, get up at 6 a.m.
Oh, yeah,
Or get up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I couldn't even conceive of
I
a
know,
time
I'd
before
be
6
so-
a.m. Get up at 5 a.m., meat, workout. But then the thing that fascinates me most
Meat,
is...
M-E-A-T or M-E-E-T?
M-E-A-T.
Oh, yeah.
Like, meet and greet.
Meat and greet.
Hello, with the sausage in your mouth. But then...
Anyway.
But then there's always a bit where they go, and then for an hour, journaling.
Absolutely. And I think you're supposed to be so fucking busy, but yet you've got time to do your bloody... like your Heidi or something.
But what's
writing my little diary.
What's in those diaries? What do they... Because I can't imagine they're writing things like, what's the point of this?
But you know what as well is interesting to me, as you say it, is how it's been rebranded.
Yeah.
Because it is a diary,
Yeah,
but it's rebranded as journaling.
yeah.
Or gratitudes,
Yeah.
which seems to be acceptable.
Or like goal setting.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that's
of
another
course.
thing I think that goes in the book. You like, I'm visualising myself
Setting an intention.
smooching Pamela Anderson.
They're all from a very specific era.
Very specific. I think
Watch
they
it, watch
are.
it. That's true, yeah.
I think that's why I've seen the adverts, because
Oh, yeah.
the algorithms know how
Oh,
old
when-
I am, and I think that's why they sent me these adverts.
I get that. I get
Calisthenics. Do you get that?
No,
I get served so
when
much.
you run around with a ribbon on a stick. That's calisthenics, isn't it?
Calisthenics is like press ups and stuff.
Oh,
What are
what's the
you
one I'm
thinking of?
That Olympic one where they run around with a ribbon on a stick. Isn't that is calisthenics, isn't it?
I don't think it is. But I would love it if it was like 30-day calisthenic challenge and it's just doing ribbon work.
And also going back to your earlier point,
Yeah.
my problem with writing a diary is I immediately go to the most horrific inner monologue that I can't, and all that the diary is doing is like reinforcing it. That's why people are like, you should keep a diary. You'd feel so good if you wrote a diary. Like, I know,
Yeah.
I know what's going in my
Yeah.
in my mind. Like the stream of consciousness. Do you ever do the artist's way?
Yeah.
I think it's valuable. Like, I think there's lots of things to
I
take
think
from it, but
it helps you build a discipline. Like, I think
Yes,
doing
yes.
that, whatever it is, writer's hour, where you get up
Yeah.
and you just write anything for an hour.
stream of consciousness sort
Yeah.
of stuff, which I do get. But a lot of it would be like, you're like whatever's in your mind, your stupid handwriting, look, you can't even write properly. Spelt that wrong. Ugly. Like, it doesn't feel very artistic.
What is this supposed to turn into? A
Like,
play? Is this a
you're-
play?
Is this my book? And then, like, after a while, that will shift. Like, no, it won't.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. You can't even shift through the feelings.
This is what my therapist always says.
Mm.
Because I said to her, you know, there's this thing about doing comedy where people think, the way stand-up comedy particularly is portrayed in films is,
Oh, yeah.
a stand-up comedian is like doing jokes, and then one day they go, I'm going to tell you what I really think. And then everyone's like, this is
What?
brilliant. And it does sort of come from this kind of idea about stand-up comedy that it's, you know, it's good for you to talk about your problems on stage, because and my therapist was like, that is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my entire life. Because she said, what you're doing is taking a traumatic experience. If that's what you're drawing from, you've taken a traumatic experience and you are not processing it, you're just repeating it night after night and making it
money.
Like for money, and making it like go further into your brain. Like it's like re-traumatizing yourself by repeating a story that you maybe are uncomfortable about. And she was like, you can do it after you've processed it in therapy.
Process. I get it. They always go on about that. What does that even mean? You've got to process it. Yes, but I probably should. But yes, that's probably good advice. But I think I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with the way they portray stand-up comedy, I think, on film.
Incredible.
My favourite one is always when a joke goes badly, for some reason there's feedback on the mic. It's always such a shorthand. It's like, well, they just, people didn't laugh at the joke. They didn't hold a microphone up to the speaker. It always has that bong.
I hadn't thought about that. It's absolutely correct. There's no way that a motionless person on stage holding a microphone could generate feedback spontaneously.
Unless the speaker fell
Unless
in front of your chin.
is constantly moving on a sort of dolly behind a curtain that we can't see.
It's such a sort of, and I always went, oh, look at us. Like we're in Howard's Way. Not Howard's Way, Howard's End. What am I, a room with a view, with our parasols up in the sun.
In the sun, yeah.
Something. Very niche reference. But that's so removed from my experience of being a stand-up.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had gigs that haven't gone well, but...
no stand-up has not had gigs.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's a stand-up that hasn't at one point walked off and thought, well, that's one of the worst things that's ever happened. Children will have a minute's silence at school when that gig gets brought up in future.
I think the thing as well, because it feels so awful to us, but in truth, maybe I lied to myself with this, but I think I had to realise, audiences don't really care.
No.
Like, they were like, oh, I didn't really enjoy that.
Yeah.
But, I quite liked it. But they might not have laughed.
It's certainly not, nobody would remember. I will say I've had a few gigs where people will... I've had a few conversations where people are like, I saw you this one time and it was... And I'll be like, oh, was it that? And they'll be like, no. And they bring up one that I've completely forgotten about. They bring up one that I've completely forgotten
about. But people are always fascinated by that, aren't they? I think that they love to... say, what do you... Oh, I couldn't think of anything worse. How do you...
there's that old... I think it's a Seinfeld joke where he says the thing people most are afraid of is public speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3 is death. And so at a funeral, people would rather be in the coffin than giving the eulogy. And people really do have a fear of it.
Well, I think as well, my, let's say, process is to bury that fear and carry on.
Yeah.
And just do it regardless, which is quite like a push and pull feeling for the...
I definitely think
instincts.
I do think that, because I sort of reject this idea that comedians are mentally damaged in some way. So certainly a lot of us are, but no more, it's not a higher percentage than all of the population. When people go, oh, most comedians are mentally ill, you're like, no, it's just a reflection of society. What you understand is most people have some mental health problem. That's just a reality. And it's just that comedians talk about those problems, and so it feels like it's overrepresented. Whereas actually, it's very reflective of society life.
Have we talked about this before?
What?
You went to a local school to me, and we were forced to do the Model United Nations, which was run by a very strict teacher who worked for another school. And we were sort of brought in as a comprehensive school, and I don't think this teacher approved.
Right, yeah.
And because we did not really understand what a UN resolution was when we were 17.
I will say that I let myself down at the Model United Nations.
Oh, didn't you?
My friends and I thought it would be funny. We were allocated China, and this is not a joke, I think, that would age well. In fact, arguably, it was even more offensive at the time it was happening, because this is 2002. We tried to get other countries to join what we call the Axis of Evil Knievel and seize control of the business of the United Nations and focus it on more important activities like allocating more funding to finding a way to travel through time. I had a boombox that I was playing the Chinese national anthem. I was just giving speeches, and then we'd go off into subcommittees, and I'd say, this is all well and good, but when will we return to the Axis of Evil Knievel's business? And we were trying to get other nations to join the Axis. and
I bet people loved it.
A couple of years later, I met one of the organisers who said, several years later, who said, you ruined Model United Nations in Bromley in 2003.
You had to go to the council chamber to do it.
That's right,
in Bromley.
Yeah, in Bromley, yeah.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Basically, it was all the geeky kids
who'd
never had, well, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I don't think many of us had had many experiences, or no one fancied us. Okay.
Yeah.
We were the non-fancied kids.
Yeah. I joined Model United Nations to get laid, and it did not work.
So, like there were people in my year group they'd been living life.
Yeah. People were
before they got to
drinking
the
and
sixth form, going to parties
and smooching.
Smooching at least, yeah.
I was in Model United Nations, and I was like the debating captain at my school.
English Mace, is that what it's called?
Yeah. The English speaking union, the Mace competition. We got to the final. Me and my debating partner got to the final of it, and
You must have got so much.
we got so much action. But it was only funny because it looked like a circus freak show because he was 6 foot. He continues to be 6 foot. I think 10 or 11. I was slightly shorter than I am now, and I insisted on. I can't believe I'm talking about this.
What did you dress as?
For 2 years, the last 2 years of school, we were allowed to wear our own tie. That was the concession.
Oh, that's strict.
But I every day wore the same Beatles tie with the pictures of the Beatles from the inlay of the White Album on it. And so I turned up. He's 6 foot. Cool. He's 6 foot 10, 11. I'm at the time probably about 5 foot 8. So I'm like a clean foot shorter than him. We are the same height when he is sat down as I am standing up, pretty much. And I'm wearing a Beatles tie, and my hair is like this, like really long. And it just looked like people were absolutely confused by us. And again, like years later, because like the sort of I'm only reticent to talk about this because James Acaster always bullies me about this, and he always says you should always tell people that you were a school your thing at school was being a funny debater because it makes sense of your comedy and personality. We used to do these debate speeches, but I would put jokes into them, and that's why we would but that's why we would win basically. And then we got to the final. And I will never know if they did this deliberately, but it's so funny if they did. The final debate, we had to defend maintaining patents over antiretroviral drugs for HIV.
Oh my God.
And so it was almost like they were like, make that funny.
Oh, I bet,
Chuckle through that, you little shits. Listen, it paid off. My first girlfriend and I did meet at the University Debating Society.
Oh, well, there you go.
So you tell me who's a loser.
In the rebuttal, I will. Nish, please mind the urn. So this is the vegetable patch.
I just thumbs up to me minding the urn successfully.
Oh, good. No, you should celebrate your successes. That's something that people probably put in the journal, isn't it? Like
Of a successful occasion.
One of my great, yeah.
I dodged the urn.
I dodged an urn.
That is, listen, every day we dodge the urn.
Hey, am I right? This is where we've been growing some vegetables.
Great.
Alfie's put these in. I think they're either cabbages or Brussels sprouts. But with gardening, I always say I'm a proud novice. I don't know. I mean, probably working out what is edible is important.
Definitely that's important.
That is important, it turns out. Here, we've been growing carrots.
Wow.
And we haven't harvested any of them. And I wondered if you would like to be the first to pull up a carrot.
I would love to help you out. I will definitely do that. I feel like I should
What's going on?
preface this by telling you I have absolutely no gardening experience whatsoever.
No, that's part of the delight.
Great, fantastic.
That's part of the kitsch likability of this whole visualised podcast.
Let's do it.
So here we are at the vegetable patch. Nish is stood by the fronds of carrots. So do you know, these are the carrots here. So
yes, and I did know that.
Yeah, and Nish definitely knew that.
Yeah.
So if we don't know what they'll be like.
So we just pull them out?
Just pull
one out.
Just go up, go down that.
The old sleeves up.
That's good, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, wow! Oh, wow! What chunky carrots!
Those are some fat calves.
They are terrifying looking carrots.
Those are huge!
That one. That one reminds me of somebody I used to know. I mean, I don't plant them. I don't plant them to grow like that. That's how gay this garden is. People think I'm like going on about being gay all the time.
Even your carrots.
Even like grows in the garden. Anybody listening to this, you may have realised something has gone amok here. The carrot that Nish has pulled up looks like
I've pulled out a big orange cock. Don't call it what it is. I've pulled out an enormous orange cock.
And, yeah, so you can imagine that for yourselves.
Well, it's chody as well. It's turgid.
Well, it's nice. As I say, it's nice to be reminded of old friends. My.
These are really thick carrots.
Thank you. That's for you to
That's
take
so
home. You've done your
successful.
first bit of gardening, you see
That's
there.
fantastic.
It's got you into it, I can tell.
I love that.
That's going to, like I said, we have a nice, intelligent conversation, and then it all comes back. That's the thing about.
And then there's a big orange ding dong.
And that's stand-up comedy right there. Whatever you want to grow, however much you nurture it, the thing you pull out is.
There's balls on it. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a cock and balls. The balls are not in proportion, I would say, size-wise.
Oh, all right. I didn't know we were.
We were bragging about the size of our balls.
It's a lovely way to round things off here. So thank you, Nish. I've really enjoyed this chat.
It was fantastic. I loved it.
And well, I hope you. Well, you can take those with you if you like. Lovely and some hummus.